Hi, boys and girls. For language arts, I'm going to read to you A Turkey for Thanksgiving by Eve Bunting, illustrated by Diana DeGroat. A turkey for Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving morning. Mr. Moose helped Mrs. Moose set the table. Sheep will sit here. He likes a chair that's straight, up and down. Mr. Moose said, Rabbit here, Porcupine here, Mr. and Mrs. Goat over here. He smiled at his wife. Isn't it nice to have friends to share Thanksgiving? Mrs. Moose set 2 paper pilgrims, one at each end of the table. She placed the paper turkey with its great fan of tail between the candles and stood back. They look good, my dear, Mr. Moose said. Miss Moose sighed. Yes, but I wish we could have a real turkey. Everyone always has a turkey for Thanksgiving. Everyone but us. Mr. Moose nuzzled Mrs. Moose's head. Well, that won't do. I will go this minute and find you a turkey for Thanksgiving. Mr. Moose put on his cap and he went out. Mist wandered through the bare trees. The cold made his nose water. Rabbit poked his head from the rabbit hole. Mr. Moose, is it dinner time? Not quite yet. Mrs. Moose wants a turkey. I'm off to find one. Rabbit joined him in 3 quick hops. I'll come too. Moose's warm breath hung white in front of him. It was cold. Snow crunched under his hooves and made little holes that Rabbit jumped over. I see the goats, Rabbit said. Mr. Goat raised his head and spat out the tin can he was chewing. Is it dinner time? Not till I find a turkey, Mr. Moose said. We saw one down by the river, Mrs. Goat told him, and Mr. Goat added, a fat one. The goats leaped down from their perch. We'll show you. Sheep was further up the hillside, looking around as a fur ball in his winter coat. It is dinner time. Oh, is it dinner time? He bellowed. First, I have to find a turkey, Mr. Moose bellowed back. There's a turkey nest on the riverbank. Wait for me, said Sheep. I'll come too. The earth smelled of ice and moss as they crunched along. Above them a crow hung, black as a puff of wood smoke. Porcupine was hiding in the underbrush. It's you, he said and put his quills down. We're off to get a turkey for Mrs. Moose. Mr. Moose explained. Do you want to come? I'm rather slow. Pick me up on your way back, Porcupine said. Who'd want to pick you up? Sheep asked, and laughed his bleat of laugh. I'll wait, Porcupine told Mr. Moose. They saw Turkey's nest right away, and Turkey himself peering over the top of it. Eek! Turkey, Turkey, Mr. Moose called in his sweetest voice. Turkey blundered from his nest and ran. Mr. Moose lumbered after him. Turkey, don't run, we just want you for Thanksgiving dinner. And Turkey ran faster. Mr. Moose saw the red and blue sheen of Turkey's neck. Turkey's tail brushed crumbs of snow behind him as he tried to fly. Too fat, Mr. Goat said. Turkey's legs bent in the middle as he fell, and Mr. Goose put a booted hood on his head and said, with a big toothy smile, I hope you don't have other plans for Thanksgiving, Turkey. Uh-oh. He helped Turkey up and all the way home. My wife won't mind that you're too fat, he said. Let's go. It's getting close to dinner time. Turkey does not want to go. They marched Turkey in front. I'm sorry about this, for I can see you don't want to come, Mr. Moose said, but I must insist. A promise is a promise. There was a wreath of dried fruit hanging on the door. Inside it was filled with Thanksgiving smells. Mr. Moose hid Turkey behind him. Look who I brought, Mrs. Moose. Sheep, the goats, Rabbit, and Porcupine, and ta-da! He pushed Turkey in front of him. For you, a turkey for Thanksgiving. Mrs. Moose clapped her hooves. I'm so happy to have you, Turkey. Thank you, Mr. Moose. Now everything is perfect. Shall we sit? Sheep asked, heading for the straight up and down chair. Let's do so. Mrs. Moose pointed. Rabbit over here, Porcupine here, Mr. and Mrs. Goat sit here. And look, I brought a chair from the other room in hopes of a turkey. A chair? Turkey stammered. Yes, right next to me. Let's light the candles, Mr. Moose. There were acorns and alfalfa sprouts, dried since summer, willow bark and cured grasses and wild parsley, leaves thin and pale as new on ice on a pond. I hope you find something here, said to your liking, Mr. Turkey, Mrs. Moose said. I wasn't sure of your taste. You are so kind to worry about my taste, Turkey said. I thought you would be worrying about how I would taste. Heavens, no! Mr. Moose smiled his big tooth smile and filled everyone's cup with water. It's so nice to have friends around the table at Thanksgiving. Turkey's waddles wobbled. It's even nicer to be at your table and not on it, he said. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody! Happy Thanksgiving, Turkey! Did it end up how you thought? A little bit of a surprise ending. And today you're going to make your turkey craft. I attached all of the pieces in your blue folder and a picture of mine. I gave you some different eyes. I gave you googly eyes and some extra orange to cut the little legs out. And it should look a little bit like this with 5 different color feathers. So I hope you have fun, boys and girls, and I will see you very soon. Thanks for listening.